Tango tausine rika tswalehi, tanyo se da rika tswalehi, choti se da rika tswalehi, niton rala de shinga kwengole kwa, niton rala de shinzi jahile.
The magic mushroom is the icon of psychedelia. It's just one of Mother Nature's party favors for a lot of people. But to others, it's a portal to knowledge and to healing. People come from all over the world to Huautla de Jimenez, a small mountain town 6 hours north of Oaxaca in the Sierra Mazateca, home to the Mazatec Indians and the place that made the mushroom famous. The influx of foreigners has had a tremendous impact on this little town, with narrow winding roads better suited to foot traffic than to vehicles.
Here we are in Huautla de Jimenez, Mexico, in search of the story behind the hongos.
I was going to college in Mexico City when some friends told me about these magic mushrooms in Oaxaca. It's precisely in Huautla de Jimenez.
I first came to Huautla de Jimenez quite by accident in 1987. When I was 21 years old and I was backpacking through Mexico with two companions.
Everybody was barefoot, wearing their traditional outfits. Nobody spoke Spanish.
I was just looking to do field work on shamanism in the Americas.
At the time, I was probably the first foreigner since the missionaries who came here in the 1930s not to have come here aware of the tradition of using hallucinogenic mushrooms, although I immediately found out about that.
I was told that the mushrooms, when you ate them, you could talk with God. I'll tell you what, I'll go with you to prove to you that they don't work, if there are any, but we're not even going to find anything. When we got here, this old man met us like right at the beginning of town and had a little bowl like this with mushrooms. He goes, hongos, hongos, like this.
And we realized very quickly that these people offered mushroom ceremonies as well as mushrooms for whatever kind of use you would want. But I had no idea that this particular region at that time was known for this practice.
Here they're called hongos, but psychedelic mushrooms can be found in countries around the world, either on the ground or in a bag from someone on the corner. So why do people come here? We came to Huautla de Jimenez to see why it is the epicenter of shamanic mushroom use, to learn about the ceremonies and practitioners, and even though it wasn't the rainy season when they're most abundant, find some of them growing in their natural environment.
Locally here they're called ditichon, here in Mazatec, which means the little ones who spring forth. They are also often called the diositos, or the little gods.
There are at least 4 different varieties of psychoactive mushrooms that they use, psilocybin being the active alkaloid in all of them.
They're referred to in this diminutive kind of form, which is respectful here.
And all of these are understood to be refractions of one divinity or another, or as divinities in and of themselves.
The typical dose is 3 or 4 pairs, up to 6 pairs, which would be a very large amount. The pairs represent male and female, and this is a place where there's still the sense of a kind of complementary dualism, which there's a sort of male and female element to everything that goes on, that you can't have one without the other.
Do they grow around here?
No.
No.
Tiene su lugar especial aquí por donde se llama donde donde muere la caña, el bagazo lo tiran y allí brota.
What types of things do they cure?
All kinds of things, including physical ailments and psychological ailments.
But they're always used as vehicles for revelation, seeing behind appearances. And this is often spoken of in terms of seeing the actual essences of things.
En la temporada de los hongos, mucha gente lo maneja como negocio, pero con los niños santos nunca debes de manejarlo como negocio. ¿Por qué? Porque en estos niños, si alguien por curioso quiere ver a los niños santos, se echa a perder los niños.
Whatever you see while under the influence of psychotropics is the truth, the incontrovertible truth.
I talked to somebody who used them to discover why her husband had abandoned her, and she discovered that her husband's sisters bewitched him because they were envious of her.
Te diré, los niños se puede alejar de mí porque no cualquiera pues puede llevar ese look.
They don't work if someone sells them.
Yeah, if someone sells them, and also if someone sees them.
If someone sees them?
Sees them, yeah.
So if you go to see them just out of curiosity and you're not having like the right respect, then you make them not work anymore for anybody.
For anybody, yeah.
Oh.
1 out of every 50 people might be a curandero or something like that.
And that means cure.
A cure. It's still very widespread. It's still commonly done.
Y no cualquiera pues le va a decir lo que yo le estoy diciendo.
Traditional respect for mushrooms can still be found here, but Huautla is a part of the modern world, where they're usually traded as simply a drug. Is the experience still considered significant in a spiritual sense? And what about foreign visitors? Tourism and exploitation often go hand in hand, especially in places where economic opportunity is scarce. So how did this place come to be so well known for mushrooms?
People, to some degree, knew that some sort of mushroom that's perhaps intoxicating powers had been used by the Aztecs, but people believed, I guess, that disappeared, that there was no remnant of it. This banker, Wasson, became very interested in mushrooms in general, and he kind of founded this field of ethnomycology. He goes in very skeptically with a camera crew and filmed a velada, a very, very dramatic one, hosted by another cure named Maria Sabina. He promised Maria Sabina that he would not really share her story that widely. So he just published it in a very obscure magazine called Life in the mid-50s, article called The Magic Mushrooms of Mexico. But then in the mid-60s, around 65, 66, a sort of overwhelming crowd of counterculturally oriented Americans most started coming to Huautla.
If you say, name a shaman from Mexico, Maria Sabina. That's the name that's going to come up.
Usually strong opinions, negative or positive, even about whether she was a competent shaman or not.
And I'm very glad that Gordon Wasson came here and he discovered the magic mushroom and that Maria Sabina was willing to give it to him. She was also coerced.
Maria Sabina performed those rituals for and with Gordon Wasson. Then the hippies came, and then we have quotes from Maria Sabina later in life saying that the mushrooms weren't working anymore.
Maria Sabina became famous because she broke the Indian taboo of giving mushrooms to white people.
Or they're upset that she betrayed them. That was the real problem.
Gordon Wasson bribed the president of Huautla at the time, and he came up to her house and told her that it was her civic obligation.
Is her and her history important to you?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah?
It's very transcendent. You can see part of the future, part of your past, part of the present.
There's really no question that she actually was a virtuosa, no matter what people might be saying today.
She had a lot of things against her. A lot of the people in Huautla hated her because she was famous. She spent most of her waking hours being drunk and drank herself to death, actually.
I talked to the doctor who did the autopsy on her, and it was his opinion that she died of cirrhosis of the liver. But she was an unhappy woman. She had plenty of reasons to be drinking.
Everyone stole her money. She didn't get any of it herself, really nothing. I mean, the government built that house for her. She had a much more modest house than that.
Maria Sabina became both revered and despised for her unintended fame, which brought the world to Huautla's tiny doorstep. The shamans now had access to foreign money, creating the temptation to turn the practice of healing into more of a business. People come here to take the hongos and do a velada?
Sí, tenemos un altar especial adentro. Cuando pasa en Filogonio, es el nieto de María Sabina, que da a los niños santos aquí.
Do you also want to be a curandero?
Ya cuando el papá ya deja el puesto, sí, por supuesto que sí.
Yeah,
seguimos.
of course.
Yeah. How long have you been a curer?
Desde, por primera vez, empecé a tomar los diosecitos los 9 años. Desde los 18 años ya empecé a dar los diosecitos. Empecé a ver que María Sabina tenía ahora sí, sus dioses, tenía su copal, su vela, sus diosecitos, su copalero. Entonces, cuando yo era niña, yo quería ser como hacía María Sabina, noté su trabajo de ella, todo se me quedó muy bien.
All shamans begin, it's not a path that they choose. They're sort of chosen by the spirits, ultimately by God. God would not have chosen a person to become a shaman unless they were morally worthy of that position.
See, to me, this is the defining role of a curandero or a shaman is, can you cure people? It's one thing to be able to give mushrooms to tourists, you know, and give them a small dose and hope that they don't go crazy. These people are just tourist guides, or worse, they're spirit thieves. You know, they also steal people's spirits and charge them money for it.
The shaman's increased knowledge and power kind of goes to their head, and they forget where their power came from. And at the same time, they see that they can make much more money by practicing the other way. The initiatory experience under the influence of mushrooms was an arduous journey of soul flight through various obstacles to arrive at Indosan, the Mazatec heaven in the east.
Well, the Maya called it the turquoise neblina, the turquoise fog. You can tell that there's no more, that there's nothing beyond this, that this is the end, the beginning and the end.
In more recent generations, that initiatory experience has become reconfigured into an experience of being confronted with two roads. Whether you're going to be an evil sorcerer or a good shaman is a decision that the shaman makes at the moment of becoming a shaman. But the layman's model is instead one of the rise and fall through temptation, so that any shaman might go bad at any moment.
To find a real curandero, a real shaman, this would take months and months of investigation.
I mean, to the point where some people have just given up on shamans altogether.
You make your own ceremony with the mushroom, yeah?
In trying to understand a book, a group from here is the old people. We call it chotachine. Is people who know about these kinds of how is it, troubles?
Troubling.
So, these people give me a book, a very interesting book, and they explain all the elements for can do very authentic traveling with the mushrooms. I want to do it just with myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just by yourself. You do not want a helper. Do you not want a curandero to be with you?
No.
Really?
I want to do it just me.
Do you have your own songs, your own chants? Is that part of learning to be a curandero?
Bueno, teniendo ya cuando tú eres chamán,
When you already are a shaman,
ya empiezas a tener tu propio canto en mazateco con los niños
you begin
santos.
to have your own singing.
Así es. Ya cuando tienes el efecto, tú tienes a tu gente, empiezas a...
There's a certain procedure, there's a cleaning of the room, cleaning of the air, cleaning of the floor. Then you clean the people, then you clean the mushrooms, and then you eat the mushrooms. This all takes like an hour and a half before you even put the mushrooms in your mouth. Most of the people in Huautla that you go to eat mushrooms with are not doing the full ceremony. They're doing the short tourist version. Remember, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. So if you know a little bit, then you know more than almost everyone else.
And you don't give to anybody that
Sure,
it's just
yeah,
for
I
you.
understand. Elementos rituales mazatecos.
For example, they explain you.
Look at this.
Oh yeah, the copal, tabaco, pichete, cera, luz, las flores. It's a very interesting book that represents the egg for us.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's a lot of things.
There's a lot to this.
Yeah,
Chants and songs. Maybe you will become a curandero.
no, it's not my intention.
No.
For that reason.
But they must trust you very much to give you this book.
Yeah.
They know you want to do the right thing.
I think the Chotachine only gives this book to the people who knows they will care about the information, because for our culture it's too important information.
They show you the secret.
The people or the mushrooms?
No, that is both.
Is there an initiation ceremony for when you become an official curandero?
No, pues es que no. Tú solito debes preparar con tanto, por decirlo, mi papá es el maestro. Mi papá debo de tener un maestro. Así ya cuando te dice el maestro, ya cuando te dice ya cuando estás ya listo para curar a la gente es cuando ya.
Ya
eres.
Yeah.
Do you want to use a curandero at any point?
I think it's very personal.
They come for magic mushroom ceremonies, but I won't do them for them anymore. I've stopped doing it.
Why?
I've seen so many horrible things that my eyes can't take it anymore.
From damaged people or?
It's like going to the dentist. You don't go to the dentist because you like to visit the dentist. You go to the dentist because you have a bad tooth and it's killing you and you want him to fix it or pull it, one or the other. And so this is what shamanism's all about. It's looking for the worst thing you've got that's hanging you up and then removing it. I used to be able to see weird things and go, oh, well, too bad for them, you know, do the best you can and go on with it, you know. Now I seem to take things so heavily, I feel them. You gotta separate, you have to stay separate, you know.
Of course, foreign influence in the region didn't begin in the 60s, but hundreds of years before. The Spanish brought with them a behemoth of religious dogma, imposing Catholicism upon the Mazatec Indian.
You know, any Mazatec considers him or herself to be a good Catholic, although it might not be recognizable from where the Pope's sitting exactly.
People here have, with the time, have learned to fusion those both religions, you know.
Yeah. Are most people in Huatla religious people?
Yeah.
Okay, it seems. Are you Christian?
I'm
you
not
can say
religion.
no. Okay.
One of our gods is called Chicontocosho.
Chicontocosho.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is God for me. And
I see.
For the Chotachine is God too.
Religion is obviously a syncretism of the Catholicism brought by the Spaniards and their own autochthonous traditions that have fused in various ways. The rituals that involve the psychotropics were maybe the mechanism through which they assimilated a lot of Christianity and did so in their own way. Not only do they believe in their version of the saints, they actually meet with them live, 3D and Technicolor. They have many, I guess we would call them nature spirits. Streams, caves, and especially the mountaintops are said to be inhabited by a spirit owner.
Chicontocosho is the owner of that mountain.
Okay.
And right now, they come here, the people come here used to pray, something.
Okay, just around that time.
Yeah, or ask or something.
Just keep an eye out at the base of the trees, I guess. That's where we're gonna find them. Look like they're glowing. This right here?
Oh yeah,
That's one.
Yeah, but no, not the one of
No.
not the holy one.
Yeah, we have an imposter one. It's cute. You want to come take a look? So here's this. It's got little orange spots.
Oh, yes, a little mushroom.
Is that the one we want?
Nope.
Nope. Another imposter?
Yeah, another imposter.
It looks like it would do something to you. What the hell is this?
No, that's not a mushroom.
That's not a mushroom.
No, it's just a
What is that?
fruit.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's a piece of plastic. It's a plastic bead.
Oh,
This doesn't do anything to you.
artificial.
If you find the Dia Santos here, do you think people would even pluck them from here? Or would they leave them here?
No.
They would leave them here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of the shamans were more actively involved in layperson Catholic organizations in support of the church than others.
You can read that?
Oh, so someone took it upon themselves
Yeah.
to build this here.
To build it, yeah.
It's funny, this is the home of Chicontecoch, the Mazatec,
Yeah.
or mountain god, earth lord, and then at the top is a shrine to
Catholic
Guadalupe.
God.
So everything obviously comes together with no problem.
Yeah.
You know.
Some curanderos order to the people who will gonna make the ceremony come here first just to have some good energies. You know? Some curanderos order to go take a bath in the
you do?
waterfall. Yeah.
Okay, now just before you do any
before
ceremony?
you do any ceremony, if you want to make the ceremony, you ask for Chicontecoch to have a nice travel. You know, nice traveling. You have a nice ceremony.
Chicontecoch is he a benevolent god? Does he sometimes show? Do people think he sometimes show anger?
No, I
Or
think
what
that
type of-
doesn't seem. I don't think that seems like work like that.
Yeah. What
we
type of
have
things
not
would-
good gods and bad gods.
Yeah.
And angry gods. No.
All the flowers, every place we go, all the flowers are. Yeah. You're not botanist with me neither. We got other people to ask. There's even a candle still lit. Catholicism didn't eliminate the Mazatec's belief system, but became integrated, and ceremonial use of hongos continued. For us, though, the child saints still existed only in conversation. If not on the sacred mountain, then maybe we'd find them at the waterfall. Yeah, so thank you, Chicontecocho.
Okay.
He told you about the spirit who's supposed to live there, didn't he? El Chato. And the deals that are made with El Chato.
Explain who El Chato is.
It's some kind of a demon.
And he looks
The
like
Mazatec?
that. He's like a white...
Yeah, but with wings.
A white goat with wings.
Yeah, with wings. Yeah. The legend says that if you need money, you go with the Chato.
Okay.
The Chato has sex with you.
Okay. You go and try and find him, or does
Yeah.
sometimes he try and find you?
No. You go and try to find him.
Okay.
The Chato lives behind a waterfall.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're going to the waterfalls. So, like, how much money would you get from,
I don't know. It's
Fooling
just
around
a
with El
legend.
Chato.
It doesn't say
Really?
you have a.
Okay, because I'm running a little low.
Yeah.
So, you know. These places sort of, they tell you themselves that they're sacred. No one has to tell you that. What's the waterfall called?
Oh, it's called the shower. Spanish means la regadera. The people who want to be healed come here just for a ritual of cleaning. You just take a bath, then you go up to the mountain, you have some good air.
Okay, so you get clean with the water here,
yeah.
and then you go to the mountains, you get good, purifying, cleansing air.
Yeah.
Okay. The Mazatec are a people of the land and found their gods in nature. They had no problem seeing this simple, unattractive fungus as a connection to God, as long as it was used properly in ceremony. It's called a velada, is the...
A velada, which is basically a stay awake. It's a kind of name for
Stay
it.
awake.
Yeah.
So this is where you perform the velada.
Sí, en este lugar hago mi velada para unos 3, 4 personas.
There's a kind of ritual cleansing that takes place. There's certain paraphernalia that's used, copal incense, cacao beans, candles.
Todo tiene su significado de lo que estamos viendo. Las flores tenemos presente aquí porque a veces nuestro Señor no tenemos nada que ofrecerle. De la flor es el perfume, el aroma que tiene, con eso se alimenta nuestro Señor cuando me visita por la noche. La veladora es la luz que nos da nuestra mamá cuando caemos debajo de sus pies. Es la luz que nos da ella.
Under the pairs of the mushrooms, you need the male and the female, and you have a male and a female candle, I see.
¿Sí?
Okay. Continue.
Por medio del copal, por medio del humo del copal, nuestro Señor lo recibe.
It's very interesting the copal, because the copal is
Like
la
the key
puerta.
that can also open the door.
Yeah,
Really?
or can make the conversation with God.
Okay.
It's how you interact with God.
Mm-hmm,
God.
mm-hmm.
Te dicen en tu ceremonia, te orientan muchas cosas, los diosesitos,
So,
niños santos, sagrados. Nuestros antepasados pagaban con el cacao, no pagaban con monedas. Y su significado es para que nosotros también tengamos todo, que se duplique todo. Y tenemos nuestras hojitas de reliquia para purificación, para limpiar, para la limpia, para nuestra gente que nos viene a ver. Bendita de nuestros santos, de la Virgen de Juquila, milagrosa, que está aquí por Oaxaca, que se le marca aquí con agua bendita a nuestra gente.
And something called San Pedro, which is a mixture of tobacco and a few other things, which is, rubbed on your elbows and your forehead, and that protects you.
El San Pedrito es tu protección. Protección. Polvo de protección.
protection from what?
Protección de qué?
Protección para todos los malos aires, para los malos de la noche. Sí, porque en la noche hay malos espíritus y de día es para uno, pero para la noche no.
Why does the ceremony have to take place at night?
Porque la noche está más silencioso.
Do you take the mushrooms very often with other people in the ceremony, or is it mainly just them?
Sí tengo que comer a fuerza, un par siquiera, un par, 2 pares. Ya con eso yo ya tengo, porque con todo lo que a veces yo limpio, cuando se limpia, todo te queda ahí, el diosecito, su jugo, te queda.
When you eat mushrooms, they say it takes 3 to 4 days for your spirit to come back. And so they tell you not to leave town.
So you can't even leave. We've heard that you can't have sex or give or accept gifts, but we didn't hear.
Yeah, well, you can't leave town either for 4 days.
Es muy significado esto, lo de las relaciones, que no debe uno de tener relación. Es porque la gente se aloca, se pone mal, ya no es el mismo trabajo que tiene cuando hay relación, se descompone, echa a perder el trabajo.
Practice of the traditional rituals is fading, but the desire to seek knowledge or cure oneself, that will always exist. Some decide to take the mental or spiritual journey into their own hands, which raises the question, what is a valid and respectful use of mushrooms?
So the first thing was curious.
You were curious. You just
Curious,
wanted to know
yes.
what it was like.
Okay. And I was doing with my grandma.
Really, with your grandma?
Yeah, it was interesting, but I didn't get a effect. So, and then I tried to do it again, and I get a lot of experience. I see a terrible future.
And so afterwards, did you want to do them again to figure out how to fix?
Yeah, I have that mission.
Okay.
And I didn't conclude. I need to conclude my mission. Yeah, but I need more time, because it's about our body, about your mind, about your soul.
There's a pile of mushrooms about like this. And I looked at them, and I looked at the pile, and I looked inside, and I kept doing this thing, and I said, I'm going to eat that whole pile right there, man. I'm going to find out what the Beatles found out. I'm not going to be left behind, nobody. and the pile started going down like this. I ate about, I guess, 750 grams, more or less.
I'm surprised you're still talking to us now.
I wasn't trying to outdo them, or I just wanted to like know everything that this mushroom had to offer. I wanted to find out what were the, you know, the outer limits of it, you know. And plus I was a fool. I mean, I ate this huge dose, which we later calculated was about 40 doses of psilocybin mushrooms. When they hit, I just fell back to the ground, and I felt like I'd been hit with a bat over the top of my head. Like, oh my God, this is for real. I'm in trouble now, man.
Were you worried?
I wasn't worried until the next vision, which was about 3 seconds later, when I see myself laying in a tomb, and all the people that I came to Watlow with are standing around the tomb, and the guy that we at the house there, and everyone is standing there and they're crying, and it's my funeral. It was when I saw the sun that I remembered that there was a planet called Earth, and that on Earth I remembered that there were these beings called people, and that a lo mejor, probably I was a person who had come from Earth, but who in the world could I have ever been? My God. I just got to talk with God myself, and my name's Juan Ricardo. And at that second, I came back into my body. It was 17 and a half hours later from the beginning of this trip. I had been gone off the planet for 17 full hours. I came back and my body wasn't even in the hut. My body was laying out in the mud, and I came to and I just started licking Mother Earth. See, I'd just come to Watlow and had this one earthquake of an experience, and then left and didn't know that there were shamans or there was a rite that went with it, or, you know, a ceremony. Or this was no ordinary trip and no ordinary dose. I sat there the first day like this. I didn't tell anyone anything. It took me almost a week before I could even talk normal. Like, we'd hold a conversation and all I wanted to talk about was mushrooms.
Your friends must have been a little worried.
They were quite worried. You have an out-of-your-body experience, you know, not just for a few seconds, but I mean, you don't ever think you're coming back.
Yeah.
Then you come back, try and tell people about this because you want everyone else to go there and have this experience so that they'll feel closer to God too. And it's not working. You know, I couldn't replicate the experience. No one else would have it. You know, I'm like, maybe I'm just a nut.
Stories like Juan Ricardo's suggest that maybe having a guide along for the trip is the best way to get the results one wants. But shamans are human, with the same capacity for jealousy and greed as anyone else.
The main evidence that you have that you're dealing with a good shaman is that they will never discuss fees.
Do you know some curanderos who maybe just want the money and that is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't teach me the correct way for can make solution to my problems.
Most curers are very jealous about their clientele and often accuse other curers of being charlatans or fakers or sorcerers.
If you hang out in a place like Watlow for a month or two, you're going to pick some stuff up, because there's people here that are like sport brujos, sport witches.
Or they think that shamans will tamp down your visions so they can string out the number of times that you'll have to come back to the shaman.
The killer didn't show me the correct way. So, and she take it off, I think, things that is for me.
Yeah.
Sometimes they see the shaman switch from their more paternalistic role to a model of competitive individualism.
Their objective is to steal your spirit and steal your happiness.
People will say, well, I went to the shaman and I ingested the mushrooms, all was going well, but then envy came out in the shaman. And he put a top on my visions and tried to take it for himself, which is obviously a visual metaphors for competitive individualism that have intruded on the experience.
Envy seems to be a big
It's the
thing.
biggest problem
You
in
keep hearing about
Mexico
envy.
I've ever heard of. I have never seen anything like the envy, at least in all of Mexico, but especially in this area here.
Why do you think that is? Are they guarding something they want to keep for themselves? What would it be? You know, there's just much less opportunity.
There's not that much opportunity to get things. So if somebody does get something, it kind of makes a lot of people angry that, well, how come he got a nice truck and I don't have anything?
This is more about suspicion than actual sorcery.
And they tried to run us out of here. They tried to poison me.
One time when I thought I was hearing an eyewitness account, the person who told this story said, I know it's true. I saw it when I took the mushrooms. So this was a visionary experience. And like I said, if somebody sees it under the influence of the mushrooms, there's no question but that it was true.
They started trying to kill me with black magic. They started doing ceremonies to kill me. They started doing things against my children.
How'd you find out about it?
Eating magic mushrooms.
Oh, okay.
This is when I first learned what it was all about, demons and throwing spells on people. They use air. It's called air, aire. It works because you believe it will work.
So you think the power comes from
the
people,
belief.
basically, from the belief.
It comes from they believe in it and the people doing it believe in it, and that's all it takes.
Gordon Wasson's article in Life resulted in a hippie invasion of Huautla, upending their quiet corner of the world. Once again, a powerful foreign influence would impose itself on the spiritual practices of the Mazatec.
By about 1967, you had a kind of permanent encampment of hundreds and hundreds of people. But their presence became kind of hard to ignore. This was a kind of very conservative, monolingual place. It was very hard to get in and out of here. There was a road at that time, but it was not paved. They weren't that interested mostly in the local people. Mm-hmm. They were interested in, the scene, which was associated with other scenes that were emerging around the world. And these people would stand out, and people here took mushrooms, but it wasn't something that they advertised openly. Mm-hmm. It was something that was always done in the context of the home at night, in the dark, with family, with a cure. And when people encounter sort of these naked people openly taking mushrooms, having sex in their cornfields, it became kind of a little bit shocking. People were worried about their children. But there's a few stories that always stand out, like the person who tried to eat a live turkey in the market square.
Sí, en los 68, cuando entraron los hippies, cuando hicieron su desorden aquí, cuando no hicieron pues bien, cuando los niños santos lo tomaban nomás afuera, pues fue un poquito peligroso para nosotros. Nos daba miedo, no podíamos salir.
Everyone here will tell you that there were famous people who came hidden among all of the hippies. I mean, the list of precisely who those people are varies tremendously from person to person. You will hear every name almost. I've heard Donovan, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin. I hear a lot one of the Osmond brothers. John Lennon is the name that appears most consistently. Everyone will say that John Lennon came here. And it's interesting because it ties into some of the kind of local folklore about the Earth Lord, who is a light-skinned kind of divinity who lives in the local mountain, rides a horse, and often kind of goes in disguise and looks like just a sort of humble campesino. So the idea that there were these kind of magical personages, these tremendous celebrities, hidden amongst these sort of poorly dressed throngs of hippies makes sense. And it also tells you, you shouldn't treat anybody poorly because they might be somebody really, really fabulous.
Cuando llegó también John Lennon en los 68, yo era una niña muy humilde, una niña muy entonces él me agarraba de la mano, vamos niña, vamos a pasear, ¿qué quieres? Me compraba galletitas y me decía John Lennon, niña, vas a bailar, me decía, y ya me tocaba.
And ultimately, the town president asked the army to intervene, and the army came in and rounded up all the foreigners, and then they blocked the road for a certain period of time. They closed Huautla to any outsiders coming in.
What do the people who live here think about all the foreigners who come? You can be honest.
Yeah, in my point,
Yeah.
I mean they come here to ¿cómo se dice curarse?
Heal.
Heal.
To healing.
Heal maybe their soul or maybe their body or their mind.
Viene y dice, me siento mal, o dice, y luego yo en la ceremonia, cuando yo tomo los honguitos, agarro mi hojita, esa hojita, le hago así, le limpio, voy. Okay. Es una limpia pues que se hace pues tirar todo eso. Y la gente dice, oh, qué rico me sentí, qué bien me sentí. Aquí está la medicina, dice. Sí.
What do foreigners tend to ask of you in the ceremony?
¿Por qué quieren la ceremonia? Es para conocer, para tener conocimiento, para saber algo de sus... A veces tienen problemas, a veces traen problemas. Y se van muy contentos cuando ya ellos han tomado sus diosesitos.
Do some people come just to play with the mushrooms or do not have the proper respect?
Sí, hay muchos que vienen, luego nada más lo comen, se van en las montañas.
Most of the people that come here from other countries, they are two very nice people, very respected people.
Yeah.
Because when we see all the foreign people that come here, we stop for a moment and we say, oh, other people come here and appreciate too much our own things.
Yeah. So maybe tourism isn't always so bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are helping to keep safe our culture, our mushroom culture and everything.
One thing that didn't change, however, was the mushroom itself and its capacity to give people a significant experience. The novelty of the mushroom capital eventually wore off, and overall it seems that the attitudes of visitors have become more respectful to their hosts, even if the tradition of how the magic mushrooms are used has changed.
The paving of roads, the telephone, electric, these are big changes for any indigenous community anywhere in the world.
Because many people think of it as being a 1,000-year-old tradition that has never changed, but it has. It's changed in terms of who uses them and to what ends.
Historically, you always would take them with a cure who's a person of prestige, usually an elder within your family.
You get this shift in emphasis in sensory registers in their religious experience from one of the sort of passive listening to the voice of authority, shaman, to an insistence on seeing for yourself.
There's a certain kind of youth culture here that's far more oriented around what they see as hip in the national culture.
Mm-hmm.
People wanted to have an easy job. Nobody wants to grow corn with a wooden hoe and go out there and chop wood with an axe.
I've spoken to little kids in other places asking them what they want to do when they grow up, and one little girl goes, I want to work in an office.
I mean, it's very complicated, but I think it has everything to do with the sort of collapsing of hierarchy in the Sierra as certain of their institutions, political and economic, begin to come apart. So that over time you see a lessening of hierarchy and the emergence of a more individualist ideology and way of life where in rituals it becomes, I guess, what you would call more democratic.
There's not that many people eating the mushrooms in Huautla like it used to be, in my opinion.
As something that's associated with the kind of backwardness, perhaps, of their parents' generation.
Amongst the young people, I found many of them were frightened of the mushrooms and not interested in taking those things. They make you crazy.
You know, old conservative Catholic women will say, I don't know what's wrong with kids today. You know, they won't even want to take mushrooms anymore.
For it to be revived will take some young people being interested in it.
Yeah.
But we have some young people who really like this kind of culture too.
Yeah.
Guava really generated its own intellectuals who were very interested in rescuing and regenerating and revitalizing and documenting their own culture.
The town has like institutionalized the mushroom. People wear clothes now with mushrooms on, whereas before only the tourists would do that.
The mushroom became like emblematic of Mazatec culture, which it never had been before.
But at the same time, those are the same people who may see the symbol as something that represents town identity and a certain hipness. You have this real interesting dynamic. You know, in the 1960s, you had North American countercultural youth rebelling against their own parents by wanting to embrace a kind of primitivity. So they're imitating Mexican Indians. They're trying to be primitive by imitating Mexican Indians. And then Mexico generates its own youth culture that tries to be modern by imitating North American youth trying to be primitive by imitating Mexican Indians.
But there are still a good amount. I mean, 15–25% of the population is getting psychedelicized, you know, and returning to society the next day with lots of contributions for the community. So it's still going on.
Some people would see that as influence of outsiders. I really think it was something that was developing from the inside, a process that had begun well before the hippies showed up.
So there's really something special about Huautla de Jimenez in that they kept the secret, so to speak.
It's easy to define stories like this in simplistic terms. Globalization destroys local culture, or tourism results in exploitation. But though the world invaded Huautla de Jimenez, the psychedelic experiences of the visitors sent some of Mazatec culture back out into the world. Cultural influence has always been an exchange, a tidal flow from one to another, however uneven. Sometimes a small town changes a large and distant society, and sometimes the sublime can be found in a patch of earth right outside your door.
This looks like it might be them. That would be, and it's next to Sugar Cane. This would be too hilarious if, after searching, you know, the mountain and the forest and everything, we didn't find them in here, in town, you know, across from a restaurant. We'd see them growing here. That would be too hilarious. Hey, Bob.
Yeah, that's the real one.
That's the real ones. That is brilliant.